Man, I had my W flag all the way ready. I had my pom poms ready to go. I was super excited to hop on here and tell y'all all the good news about how the Chicago Cubs had another outstanding comeback victory, except our closer can't close and our young star took a bump. So we got to talk about it right after this. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Chicago Cubs Central. I am your host, Mike Jones, here with another episode. Hey, guys, listen, the Chicago Cubs are having a fun season there so far, and, outside of tonight's game. But the Chicago Cubs having a fun season so far, and the fun is just getting started, y'all. Chicago Cubs Central is 365. That's right. We do not skip any days over here, not miss any days over here. So please join in on the fun with us. Join the Chicago Cubs Central family by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the network. We appreciate each and every last one of you that are doing so. Chicago Cubs Central, part of the Chi-Town Sports Central family. That's right. The Chicago Cubs lose in dramatic fashion to the San Francisco Giants, a game that was very winnable, very attainable. It just felt like the Chicago Cubs all night long missed the big hit. You got the accompanying hits, but you missed the big one, the one that would have solidified everything. The Chicago Cubs started this game off with Colin Ray, who definitely did not have his best stuff today. I mean, it's gonna happen. He's human. He's a pitcher. He's not always gonna be spot on and going crazy. But he is not even tagged with a loss in this one because the Chicago Cubs offense picked it up in the ninth. But let's first go back to the second. The second inning, Ramos reached on an infield single to third, with Chapman scoring on an error and Wade Jr. to the second, and then Wade Jr. safe at third on a throwing error by third baseman John Birdie. After that, Bailey hit a sacrifice fly to left, and then Wade scored, put the Giants up 2-0 on the Cubs. Next thing in the third inning, Lee homered to right, 385, and Willie Adami scored off of that too. That put the Giants up 4-0. So you start to get a little antsy, like, okay, Chicago Cubs haven't been down this much in a little bit. It's kind of weird, you know. And then obviously Miguel Amaya comes in at the bottom of the third with Swanson on base and knocks one over into the left field bleachers. That's right. Another home run from Miguel Amaya, another home run from the catcher spot. After that, Wisely had a sacrifice bunt, and that scored the Giants' fifth run of the game. After that, Birdie reached on an infield single, and Swanson scored. That made it 5-3. That was at the bottom of the fifth. Then no more scoring after that. Our bullpen legit came in and did what they had to do. Let's give a shout out to the bullpen. Pomerantz, Keller, Palencia, Flexen, and Hodge all took care of business. All of those guys put up zeros in the earned run category. And for me, I just looked at that and I was just like, wow, man, like they're really giving the Chicago Cubs a chance to win this game. And I'm excited because this is one of those games Chicago Cubs should have lost. And eventually they did lose. I mean, spoiler alert, we lost. But this is one of those games that should have never came down to going into extra innings. The Chicago Cubs did not play their best baseball. They did not play clean baseball. There were errors. There were misses. There was bad officiating. Oh, my God, this umpire was horrible. Oh, man, he was awful. I mean, I'm talking about his strike zone was from here to here. I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, you know, like just calling stuff strikes that isn't strikes, and it was horrible, horrible. League needs to investigate that. That was bad, really bad officiating in that game, really bad umping. Not happy about that at all. But yet and still, the Chicago Cubs used it also to their favor, the expanded strike zone. It didn't just go one way, it went both ways. They used that expanded strike zone to their benefit and stayed in this game, kept it 5-3, down by 2 runs until the ninth, when when Pete Crow-Armstrong took a walk. And like I said, Kelly went to third, and then Turner singled. Um, and I'm sorry. No, Crow took a walk, and then Kelly hit a big guy, got a base hit, and that allowed Armstrong to get to third base. Turner comes in, he's as a pinch hitter, and he hits one right through the glove of Yemshinsky and literally um scores Pete Crow-Armstrong off of that Kelly the third. Then Tucker comes in, singles, and we're all tied up 5-5, right? So I'm feeling real good about this. Then you see him, Porter Hodge out there in the 10th, and Porter Hodge puts up a big fat 0. The Chicago Cubs then go into the bottom of the 10th and have guys in scoring position at second and at third, with one out after the flyout by Nico Horner that allowed the guys to move. Seiya Suzuki is waiting at third. Like I said, the Chicago Cubs look like they're getting ready to win this. Nope. After that, like I said, you get Dansby, you get Pete Crow-Armstrong to come up, and this is something that I wanted to highlight. This is a growing pain for Pete Crow-Armstrong because the first pitch he saw, he was swinging that, and he tried to belt that thing, and I can appreciate that. But the pitcher Miller at the time was struggling to find the strike zone. You have to be patient in moments like these. I understand Pete Crow-Armstrong loves being the hero, loves being the guy to save the day for the Chicago Cubs. I can appreciate all of that, but this was not the time. This was the time for patience. This was the time to wait for your pitch. This was the time for you to come in and to show that you've grown and elevated from last year, which again, I'm not going down Pete Crow-Armstrong too much because he has grown immensely from last year. But still, this is one of those spots where, as a superstar, if you're going to be a budding, emerging superstar, you got to wait for your pitch. And when you get it, you got to make sure you drive it. You cannot be just swinging at anything. You got to make sure you get it back far enough where either it's a home run or it's close enough where Seiya Suzuki can tag from third and score. And the Chicago Cubs win the game. And it's all over with. Chicago Cubs will be 23-14. Instead, they fall to 22-15. And the San Francisco Giants improve to 23-14 on their young season. So, like I said, that to me really was like, that was our shot. That was our shot. Because I knew Brian Presley was probably going to come up. And I even tweeted out, I would have kept, I probably would have allowed Hodge to go out there and throw another inning versus bringing Presley in. I don't feel comfortable with bringing in Ryan Presley with guys on base. I don't. I feel more comfortable with Porter Hodge pitching. I feel more comfortable with Caleb Thielbar coming in and pitching with guys on base than I do Ryan Presley. And if it's a clean, fresh inning, nothing going on, sure, fine. Bring in Presley. He's got 3 outs. He's going to walk somebody. He's probably going to get up for a couple base hits. But at the end of the day, he'll get a couple flyouts and a strikeout. But he could not find the strike zone to save his life. And that strike zone was expanded. And he couldn't find that strike zone to save his life. He looked all out of sorts out there. Like I said, he walked batters. He got hit, got a couple people double off of him, couple singles, sacrifice flies. At the end of the day, what was 5-5 turned into 14-5 due to Ryan Presley's inability to throw strikes. Now, I know people are going to call for the Cubs to DFA him after this. It's not going to happen. You'll have selective outrage. He'll get right back up and pitch against the Mets, I'm sure, or he might even pitch in today's game against the Giants again if it's like a 1-run, 2-run game and it's a save opportunity. But slowly but surely, I'm sure this game has done a lot to probably cost Ryan Presley some of his leverage in the tree of trust with Craig Counsell. I like I said, I'm pretty sure Craig was pretty pissed. And then, like I said, he kind of gave the game away. After that, he just kind of stopped trying, and he just left Presley out there, even though he saw Presley could not throw a strike to save his life. He still left Presley out there. And like I said, Presley just, he struggled. He struggled. That ERA ballooned in this game, and it was horrible. So, like I said, man, it's unfortunate, but the Chicago Cubs do drop this game 14-5. Like I said, it's just one game. Let's not make a habit out of it. The Chicago Cubs had every opportunity to win this game, so I don't feel too bad about it. But these are the growing pains that the Chicago Cubs have to go through in order to go to that next level. So, again, tomorrow's challenge is not going to be any easier. Robbie Ray is undefeated right now for the San Francisco Giants with a 4-0 record, a 3.05 ERA. It's a 1:20 start time. Ben Brown is going to be up for the Chicago Cubs, so we'll see how that goes. Like I said, it could be another great outing for Ben Brown, or it could be a really bad outing for Ben Brown. We'll just have to see what happens. Ben Brown has a 4.88 ERA. Robbie Ray has a 3.05 ERA. Yeah, like I said, we'll just have to see what happens. But the Chicago Cubs do drop this game. I do think the Chicago Cubs will come out tomorrow and try to give every opportunity to win tomorrow's game. And yeah, it'll be another day, another ball game, or today's game. I don't know why I say tomorrow. Tomorrow for Thursday, they're off. Sorry. Today's game that they're going to play on a Wednesday, 1:20 start time. So be sure you guys tune in to that, and we will have an episode for you. Like I said, on Thursday, recapping that. And I want to do something special on Thursday's episode too. So we will probably bring in a guest or something like that for Thursday's episode also. So until next time, though, like I said, appreciate each and every last one of you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central. Remember to like, share, subscribe. You can also leave me a voicemail at 217-816-5498 or at cubsbaseball1992@gmail.com. Remember to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend that Chicago Cubs Central is the place to be. Appreciate each and every last one of you. Until next time, go Cubs go. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.